So let me ask you a question. This is a cool red pill talking point. I wonder if you can refute it. Do you think that that men care about body count?
Y'all, there's actual sunshine in the background there. Wow. Anyway, hi, and welcome to or back to my channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions about whatever catches my attention. I'm Kit, and today, since my algorithm is cursed, this clip from the Whatever podcast of some poor soul who wanted to discuss the harmful effects of the red pill community on men with Andrew Wilson landed on my homepage. And I had a few thoughts, but at least I have the sunshine to make everything better. So my first thought is that Joe Rogan platformed this guy and he's a red pill Christian. Not red letter, red pill. And it is horrifying that Joe Rogan gave this man exposure to his audience. I'll link some videos I've done about other red pillars, which will give a glimpse into how horrifying their beliefs are. And, you know, bringing Jesus into it doesn't make it better. My second thought is, the guest is arguing that red pill isn't good for men. Andrew demands an alternative because apparently something can't be good for people unless there's an alternative, but that doesn't make red pill the best or the only answer. And though the guest seems to be flailing a bit here, in my opinion, the answer is simple. The alternative to red pill is going offline. Get involved with your community. Envision the life you want to live and start taking steps to get there. Develop your hobbies and interests. Do things that make you feel good. Don't surround yourself with bitter people who actively cultivate an atmosphere of paranoia and distrust. I know it's easier said than done, but I promise that will improve your life much more than haunting red pill forums talking about how many plates you can spin. And for anyone interested, I do have a red pill detox as well as some men's groups linked in the description box. As for my third thought, well.
So let me ask you a question. This is a cool red pill talking point. I wonder if you can refute it. Do you think that that men care about body count?
I think some of them do.
Yeah, would you?
No.
No, you wouldn't care?
I wouldn't.
If she had fucked 20,000 guys?
This man is a child, and that is an insult to actual children. Oh, you wouldn't care if your girlfriend fucked 20,000 guys? Good grief. But yes, we are getting into sexual partners. I hate the term body count. It's so dehumanizing. And Andrew misses the point so much, I'm pretty sure it's intentional.
Do you think that most men would maybe consider 10 would probably be pretty high?
Not necessarily, no. Not in 2025, no.
You don't think so?
I don't.
You don't think that men would have a preference against being with a woman who's fucked 10 different dudes
I think
before them?
Some men would, but not all men.
Yeah. So the men who would find that revolting, what do you think they should do in 2025 when you just said there's not very many women who haven't had that?
Well, live a life of celibacy and die bitter, obviously. I'm kidding, but seriously, what is Andrew expecting here? If 10 sexual partners is a deal breaker for a man, he has no choice but to deal or decide it's actually not a deal breaker. There is also a third option, to internally interrogate why he thinks 10 previous partners is a bad thing. And that, by the way, is one of the reasons people have a problem with red pill. It's a bad thing if women have 10. I'm using 10 because that's what Andrew said, but the number varies depending on who you're talking to. I'm pretty sure I've seen 2 used as an example of too many previous sexual partners, but men should have as many as they can. And if a woman has whatever the bad number is, it's not enough to just not date her. You also have to shame her and declare to the internet how women are just 304s these days. And that is both a double standard and hypocrisy, because those men bemoaning women's lack of virtue aren't applying the same standards to themselves or to other men. And I don't know about you all, but I'm so tired of women having sex being compared to foods, cars, band-aids, anything that removes our humanity.
But what if it's the case that an overwhelming majority of women have that body count?
Then men are shit out of luck, I guess. Is that what you're saying?
So how are you helping them?
Setting aside the fact that the median number of sexual partners for women is 4, 6 for men if anyone is wondering, how is red pill helping men by telling them this is not only something they should care about, but what they should place the most importance on?
Do you ever think we've been in a situation like with Zoomers where it could be as many as 1 in 10 women do porn ever?
I can find nothing about 1 in 10 women doing porn. I think going on the Whatever podcast so much has infected Andrew's brain. Brian, the host, actively seeks women on OnlyFans to be on his channel, and so Andrew has started assuming they represent the majority of women. Yes, they're giving me a headache.
No. I'm just saying that don't you think that by the time most women are 25, they've had at least 3 sexual partners? At least by this.
Maybe 3.
At least 3.
I'll grant 3.
At least 3.
I'll grant 3.
Yeah. So at least 3.
I don't say at least. I'll grant 3.
You'll grant 3, but you won't grant 5.
I can go to 5.
Okay, 5. And don't you think that once you start getting into those numbers, we're in like high body count territory for a lot of men?
Yet another episode of men talking about the sexuality of women they don't even know. So far as I can tell, Andrew's issue, which is weird because he's married and not looking for a date, is that men want women with few sexual partners, and in his mind, those women don't really exist, and so somehow the red pill is helping men by... I'm really not sure. But he keeps demanding the guest tell him what men are to do instead, and it's so simple. If previous sexual partners are that big of a deal to you, the onus is on the person with a preference. Also, preferences are preferences. You can think you won't date someone who slept with 5 people, meet someone, and never ask. And for this supposedly being such a big deal to men, I do find it interesting I've only ever been asked my body count once by someone who's known me for 10 years. Or you can ask and decide it's not a deal breaker after all. That's how adulthood works. You don't get to dictate how other people live their lives. And what would that even look like anyway? Put women in a chastity belt? Lock them in a tower? Fine them for every sexual partner they've had? Andrew and the guest develop into a lively discussion about attraction, and it strikes me that the guest is unwilling to prescribe what men find attractive, which Andrew really seems to want him to do. But that's right. There is no one universal law of attraction, and even if there was, that's not how attraction works. You can be conventionally attractive and someone can still not be interested in you. And there's really 2 issues I see with this red pill thing. One, it talks about women as though we're interchangeable. It's not about a woman, it's about any woman. Apparently, men will be happy to date any woman who wants to date him, provided, of course, she hasn't had too much sex. But, not having any standards beyond low body count and hot isn't a good thing. And finally, it tries to write a prescription for attraction, and life just doesn't work that way. You can have the right car, the right job, the right body, all the things Red Pill says you need to attract women, and still struggle with finding dates. Because most people, regardless of their sex, don't just want someone to look at. They also want someone to talk to, someone they find interesting, someone who thinks, someone who has a life outside of looking good. Of course, I suppose maintaining interest isn't a concern of a red pill man. He just wants to get in the door, so he can then whinge about how women these days have slept with too many men. It's baffling how people can find Andrew Wilson compelling. And that's it for this video. My socials and Patreon are linked below along with sources and resources. I would like to thank everyone for watching through to the end, and of course, I would like to give extra thanks to my patrons. Have a wonderful day, join a meetup group or something, please, I'm begging, and I'll see you in the next one. Time for some I Be Broken.